Hey guys, welcome back. It is season 22 in cards, and it just started a couple of days ago, so that means another round of the Field Marshal grind. Hopefully this video and deck guide will help you out so that you can get your Field Marshals done as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I'm going to bring you here today. I'm going to do two series this season. I'm going to do my Elite series and my Budget series. So this is the first video of the Budget series. Standard limited cards only, new player sort of Field Marshal. We're going to go through the deck, and then you got all the games to watch that I went through to get the Field Marshal done. With this particular deck, once again, the Soviet Patriotic Firestorm Artillery deck just destroyed everybody. We only lost one game going from the 4-star Major all the way to Field Marshal. All those games are here for you to watch. Let's jump into the deck and see what it's all about. Alright, so here's the deck. We're going to use the in-game deck builder this time instead of the website, and we're just going to go through what the key cards are. And I want to do it this way because it's a bit easier for me to navigate, so I could show you some of the substitute cards that would be available for you and help you out with that. We'll show you we'll be able to show you some of the cards that you could substitute if you have them. Not everybody needs 100% budget deck, but the point is to show you that it can be done with a budget deck with no specials and no elites. But we'll go through what full meta Soviet Firestorm deck would look like with the meta, so that you can see which specials you could sub in for which cards if you did have them available to you. So just going through my budget version right now. The key cards are going to be your anti-aircraft gun, 4 of those, and Greyhound, 4 of those, 4 bloody sickles. Obviously, with an artillery deck, you want the Greyhounds out front. They're going to buff everything in the support line to give it the +1 attack. The anti-aircraft, this is our 1-drop. We want this at the beginning of every game so we could get an artillery down right away and deal with anything that might be coming at us aggro-wise. Not getting either one of these 1-drops really hurts in the early game. You really want to make sure you get them. And realistically, a bloody sickle is the last choice for me. I would prefer to get an aircraft gun, get a Greyhound, or a sickle in that order. So Patriotic Firestorm, obviously the meme of the deck, the theme of the deck is the Firestorm. You want these here because it'll buff all of your support line artillery to deal out a crazy amount of damage in one turn. So I added in special delivery this time. This wasn't in last time. This is giving me a little bit more card draw, which I thought was a bit of a weakness last season. It did work last season without them, but they did definitely help this time around to get a bit of card draw when needed. Then the Soviet anti-tank gun. This guy's just an awesome staple. We're not going to get much more expensive than this because the whole point of this deck is cheap artillery, buffing it with Patriotic and Greyhound. So that's really what we want to do. The anti-tank gun is great because it has ambush and +2 to tanks. So it's going to be a 3 attack on tanks, which is very useful. The 17th Infantry from the US. Give a friendly unit +1/+1, so you could deploy that and buff your artillery on board, pick an artillery and buff it. Usually you want to target either the anti-tank gun or the Katusha with this, but if you have to, you target whatever you need to get the job done. All right, so I have 5th Infantry Regiment in here. This is just a space filler because I needed to put another card in. So this is one that I'll show you could sub out, but I have it in there. It's not a bad card. When it moves to the front line, it gets a +1/+1. So this does help stuff the front line a little bit so that the enemy can't get at it and kill your artillery. So a bit of a protection against your support line. Running 4 from the Peoples. We definitely want some control and removal in there so we can deal with any of the bigger units that we might have to deal with. The 76mm howitzer has smoke screen, which is why it only has 1 health, but it has 3 attack. It costs 3 to deploy it. It's kind of expensive. It's not my favorite artillery. I would probably try to sub this out for something else if I had it. I'm not sure what right now, but this guy doesn't play horribly. He does have a 3 attack. If it sticks, the 1 health makes it an easy removal. We're running 2 hammers, so dealing 6 to a ground unit. Very useful to get rid of some big bullies that might come along our way. And again, this 35th Rifle Regiment is just a filler. Just to get a decent body down. The 3/4 body for 3 costs is pretty good. Get them up in the front line, and it also helps to plug the front line down a little bit. But it's kind of just a filler card because I need to fill space. And so that's the whole deck. So really not too much going on in here. I mean, it's really all about getting these artillery going and getting your Firestorms and your buffs going and your Greyhounds out to the front. Now, some cards, like I said, like if you have not 17th, what am I calling it? 10th. If you have 10th Engineer Battalion, this goes in. The cards that I said I have in as placeholders, you put this in. This just makes a artillery deck go huge pop. So if you have these specials, use them. Very, very, very useful. I'm not using them on purpose because I have them, but I'm not using them on purpose just to show that the deck works as a standard limited only. But that's a special you could definitely throw in. Has huge value. Gunship mission is an option. If you want to have another removal in there, you could swap out either for a patrol or for a gunship mission. We already have 12 US units though, so you can't swap it out from the people, which is what I would suggest. So that's a bit tricky, more of a tricky one to swap out, but you could if you find you need some more removal. The T19 howitzer is also an option, so if you're missing any of these US cards, you can sub in a T19 howitzer, but hopefully, yeah, you really do want to have the Greyhounds and the 17th Infantry in this deck. First Marines is a good card, so if you want to substitute in, say, First Marines for the 5th Infantry, that would work because that's a 3-4 and that becomes a 3-4. You can get 5th Infantry down sooner, but this you could blitz out. So it's still, this costs 3 credits to get to the front line and be a 3-4, whereas this will cost 4 credits to get to the front line as a 3-4. So a little bit better value with 5th Infantry, but it moves a little bit slower. So that's a judgment call, whatever works for your style. So the Priest is here. I don't like the Priest because of the condition of having to have the front line to get the buff. It's too expensive for a 1-2 artillery, so you really, for that cost, need to get the buff. So I don't play the Priest, but if you like the Priest and you're confident about your front line securing capabilities, then you, by all means, could substitute in the Priest. You can also substitute in things like the Warhawk if you need aircraft, if you want to put aircraft in there, because Patriotic Firestorm works on everything for the support line, even a tank. If you Firestorm a tank that's on the support line, then you could move it up and attack with the buff. So having air on the support line is an option as well. Of course, the whole point of the artillery is that it doesn't take damage back, and you just basically rip the opponent apart until they are giving up and begging for mercy. So that's the whole point. All right, so there's not really much else I would change in here. The M4 Shermans can play maybe for additional card draw. If you wanted to play Shermans instead of the Special D, that would be a very good option. You could drop 3 Special Ds, throw in 3 Shermans. We know the idea with the deck is to get... Normally you don't play Sherman when US is an ally, but since the whole design of this deck is getting Greyhounds to the front line, if you pull it off properly, your Shermans will drop you, will get you 2 cards plus, the 4/4 tank on the board. So that would be another option to substitute. Other than that, that's all there is to this deck. The deck code is going to be pasted below for you to reference. Grab that, import it into the game, and give it a shot. Leave any comments or questions down below. Like I said, I went through, lost only 1 game, went all the way through to Field Marshal. You can as well. Takes practice, takes experience. If you don't get it your first few times, just keep practicing it. Use it against the AI, get a good feel for the deck, and then jump in and go after your Field Marshal. Hey, good luck, everybody. All right, here we go. Soviet Field Marshal, budget, limited cards, standard cards only. This is going to be the Patriotic Firestorm Arty deck. Very similar to last season's deck. Couple minor differences because of new cards I've unlocked. Alright, like I said, the game plan is to get that 1-drop artillery down, the 37mm anti-air gun, so that will be our turn 1. Works great against Japan because if they do come out with the blitz units early on the turn 1 with the 2-1, which he does not do, he comes out with 34th, and we see supply shipment get discarded, which means no Germany ally, which means no 35T to worry about. But now we got supply shipment to worry about. So is he going to have another one in hand when he pushes up that 0-op? Is he going to be able to buff that right off on turn 2? And he does. So that's going to be a big chore to deal with. 4-5 on turn 3. At least we got 2 artillery down right away. We'll chip away at it. Hopefully Katusha procs. Yep, we got the proc. That's great. 3 health to go. We'll sickle it down to 2. We get another Greyhound on the draw, which is decent. And there we get it down to 1. So he's probably just going to go 4 face. Hopefully he doesn't have another supply shipment. If he does, then it's really going to start to sting. Well, he trades with us instead, so that's good for us because You really should have just gone face with the aggro deck. Like that style of deck, you go face all the time. And he trades with us, so that saves us a credit on the trade later. But we do lose our artillery, and that might be why, because artillery does have to die. Because it doesn't take damage back, so you definitely want to kill it. Alright, so we go out with the Greyhound. We'll chip that guy away. Hit the Akita. See, we hit the Akita first so that we saved our credit. If we would have pushed up first and then hit the Akita, we would have lost that credit, wasting it on the Greyhound to move it up. So we waited to see what the Akita would hit. It hit that other Greyhound, so then that lets us drop the other Greyhound with that last credit, and seems to be enough to make this guy surrender. So there we go, game 1 in the books. Back up to General, just like that. 1-star General. 4 more wins to go. Alright, here we go. Game number 2 versus Alvarez. Alright, so we got the Greyhound. We'll hang on to that. The hammer is 50-50. I mean, it could be useful. Sickle for sure we hang on to. So we just keep everything because we got a 1, 2, 3 drops there and a little bit of control removal if we need it with the sickle and the hammer. Hammer's okay against Germany because they probably will have ground units. So let's see what this guy's playing. Is this some kind of discard? No, he comes out with the Stug 3, so we are dealing with sort of standard German aggro style, probably fast Heinz Blitzkrieg stuff. We're definitely going to want to try to keep him off the front line because of that. There's the Flampanzer, so that's going to kill our Greyhound on deploy, leaving us just with our infantry unit. That's a lot of stuff to have to deal with only 3 credits on our side. We don't have a lot of power right now. So we play Katusha down, what I call naked, because we didn't use the blitz effect. But we just need to sort of go wide on the board here and hopefully have our units stick so that we can jump in there and start to kill his stuff. Luckily with the 4 health on that, neither one of his tanks can trade off directly, so we'll have to do more than 1 card versus our 3-4 infantry to kill it. Well, he didn't have a quick answer for it, so that's good news, because we're still sitting here waiting for him to play it out. Well, so goes with the Fallschirmjägers, blitzes that out, trades his Stug in, so he trades 2 units for 1. That's great value for us. Alright, so now we can hammer the Flampanzer, or we can Greyhound out and hope for some luck on the Katusha. So even if the Katusha misses, he has to kill the Greyhound still, so that would finish it off. But we get the proc on the Katusha, so we Bloody Sickle to finish it off. That's perfect. That went exactly as planned. We're in a good position here. With him not having any units on board, we're just worried about any sort of removal, attack strikes, or anything like that, which I guess he clearly doesn't have as he surrenders. So there's win number 2. Alright, so 2-star General it is. Moving on to number 3. Alright, we got game number 3 versus Sushi Rolls. Interesting name there for Sushi Rolls. Move the mic a bit. There we go. Alright, so we got everything we want for a starting hand. That's great. Could have maybe plugged out one of the Greyhounds, but Greyhound's good to have. Waiting for the enemy to finish selecting their starting hand. I find a lot of people don't expect to see a Soviet artillery deck, so they're mostly expecting to see the Soviet control deck. That's kind of meta, and so I think this deck takes them by surprise, especially if they mulligan towards the control side. They'll have a bit of a slower hand potentially. Not with Japan maybe, because it's usually Jagro anyway. Alright, so we finally get to start. We drop our little 1-drop. Get our artillery on the board. Well, we have no units on the board yet, so we just follow up with our Greyhound, stick to the game plan, get to the front. He comes with a sudden strike, kills our artillery. That's not a good sign. That means he's playing some type of Japan-Germany control with the sudden strikes in there. And bad news for us is we never drew any artillery, so we're sitting here a little bit dry right now. It's going to be rough if we don't start pulling our artillery. Alright, so we got a bit of a lucky hit there with the Akita, I guess. Maybe I probably would have rather if it hit face, but at least it didn't damage the other Greyhound. Man, we got a really bad draw here. 2 sickles in front of people and there's no units on board to hit them with. And he's got Amphibious Assault ready to go. Kills off the Greyhound. We pull another infantry. So moving a bit slow. Not good for us. Running out of cards. Well, at least we got something to hit with orders now, but unfortunately that's also going to deal damage to us for every order we play. Well, the sickle on top of that is 3 damage for the sickles. 6 damage for 2 sickles. And we don't get very good cards out of it. So not quite worth it, but had to do it. $35T. So he's got options here. Trades 1 down, so at least we can finish that with the artillery next. Trades his 35T into the 2-2. Oh, Imperial Order, that stings. So now that's a 5-7 instead of a 4-6. And we don't have a lot to deal with that at all. Guess we're going to be able to draw some cards. See what we get. We're going to take damage when we draw. Get a hammer. That helps. Now we can kill that. Not before it's done 10 damage total between our sickles and the other orders. Oh, the Eagle Claws. Yeah, this is going to be really rough. And now he's going to be pushing down with his Blitz units. Oh, and he gets a Rising Sun off. So lots of cards against our measly hand. Double Rising Sun. This is all but over. This does not look like a good game here. Not drawing the artillery and not being able to make the artillery stick. All kind of bad things that happen here. Alright, so we get to clear the board and get some artillery down, but I feel like he's going to have answers here. Naval operation. Okay, didn't see that coming. Interesting deck. It's got lots of control cards in there. So what's he thinking to do next? What's coming? Double naval op to kill off the artillery. Oh no, it just goes out with that artillery, does 2 damage to face. Alright, well we do have From the People to deal with that. Everything else is pinned, so we'll just buff and hopefully the Katusha will stick. Oh, that hurts. Big bomber. Deals 1 damage to 3 units. Kills 1 artillery. So unless we get a draw a Patriotic Firestorm, we have no way to deal with that bomber. And now we have no way to deal with that bomber at all. Well, I think that's about it. That's not going to cut it. And we're just going to surrender into that. That was horrible. Just bad card draw. So we drop a star. No problem. Alright, here we go. Game number 4. Game number 4 versus Ichthys. Yeah, he's playing Germany. Oh, it could be aggro or discard, never know. So we only got 4 cards and we're on the play, so we're going to get rid of anything that's too expensive that we don't need. So we get rid of the 2/3 drops because our deck is pretty aggressive, so we know we have lots of 1s and 2s that we can draw, so we get rid of the 3s and we get a 2 out of it and we replace with another 3. But we start off with our game plan, get the artillery down, it's perfect. Alright, we don't have a way to get at that smoke screen right now until turn 3. We can from the people that guy. So we're just going to go wide until we can kill it. Well, he's probably going to have more of those because they come in, definitely come in pairs, I believe. I mean, just to say, people don't just play one airborne, you usually play them all. So there's the other one, okay, already. In his opening hand, and a swordfish, okay. Bit hard to deal with. Okay, so, yeah, we're going to get rid of that with from the people. Kill one of the airborns so they don't get out of control. Alright, so that Eagle Claw is annoying again. Another Eagle Claw, just like the last guy. That kills the artillery, which brings the swordfish back down to 1 cost. We don't have the best cards to deal with this. We're going to sickle that to get rid of the... takes care of the mobilize that it has by giving it damage. Don't want to move the sword or the Greyhound up because that infantry will be able to kill it. Oh no, we killed the mobilize on it, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered. It's not going to become a 3 attack, but keep the Greyhound safe in the back anyway. Nebelwoofer pings the infantry in the front, finishes with the swordfish, so he's got some pretty big threats on board here. All things that don't give damage back, so they just kind of keep tearing you up. It's kind of the point of our deck, but we're not getting our tempo going yet. So I think we only have enough credits to kill one of those things, so probably hammer the artillery. The artillery is probably the bigger threat since it does 2 damage. We'll go wide with another artillery and we'll hammer that Nebelwoofer out of the way. And so now he's got that 3 cost 2/1. That's really expensive to move, so he probably won't even operate that. But the bomber now we have to deal with. And we're running out of cards. He's got 5 cards in hand to our 2. Naval support. So he kills the artillery. Alright. Wow, from the people. Okay, that was a sick top deck. That was exactly what we needed to be able to kill the bomber and the artillery in one sweep. Yeah, that was that might have been game changing right there, that one play. Hell of a top deck. Alright, so he's going to guard up. Okay. We don't have much to deal with the guards right now, so we're just going to go wide. Hopefully he doesn't have another Eagle Claw. That will just destroy our back line again. He gets to take out the Greyhound, take no damage back because of the heavy armor. Pushes up. Drops a pack 36. And, ooh, a naval support on top of making that a 6/6. Lucky we have Patriotic Firestorm in our hand. It's just very lucky. We'll be able to kill this guy. Waste his naval op. And we will come up and clear out that artillery. We take the ping on deployment from that artillery, but still able to kill it. Alright. No cards in hand, but a decent board if you can't clear it. The nice thing about the artillery is that it just clears things away for free. But we do need to do 20 damage here somehow. Bloody Sickle, not much we can do with that. Alright, 16 to go. 4 more turns. Autocannon. Okay. And he gets down the Panzer 35T. Trades off for artillery. Alright, so luckily we have the Bloody Sickle now. We can go ahead and get a card draw. And we can take care of the autocannon and deploy another artillery. And we got Patriotic Firestorm in our hand now, which is what we want. So now we just got to pray our artillery survives and sticks long enough that we can get a lethal blow in with the Patriotic Firestorm. Man, he must have crappy cards too. And we're dropping these 1-drops. Where are all the Katyushas? We need Katyushas here. Ooh, puts down the Highlanders. Wow, that's a big guard. He must have been hanging on to that. Alright. So now we get special delivery, but we don't want to lose our Patriotic Firestorm, and we were kind of saving it. So we're just going to use the Firestorm now, and then we're going to draw. And we get a Greyhound, so that's great. We'll pop that out in front. And now we can just go smack face for 12. Oh, sweet. That worked out pretty good. I'm not worried about killing this thing. It only has a 1 attack, so unless the naval supports it. Destroy the tank. Attack strike. And drops a bomber. He doesn't have enough to kill all the artillery, and another surrender. Done. Wow. That was great. Back to 2-star general. Here we go. Game 5 versus McY. MCY. Macy? MCY. Here we go. Alright, we got a 1-drop. We got a sickle. We got a Katyusha. We got 2 1-drops. And the hammer. Pretty good starting hand. No Greyhounds, but they'll come. We got what we need for the first 2 or 3 turns here. Hopefully we get to set up in Germany, so hopefully we don't run into more Eagle Claws. Alright, there's our Greyhound. That's awesome. So it's always a question. Do you just keep trying to go wide with the artillery, or do you want to push the Greyhound to the front? Right? And I think versus things like Germany, pushing Greyhound to the front is not a bad idea, because you want to plug the front line as soon as you can so that you don't leave it open for their blitz tanks to take it over. We do want to get Greyhounds in the front to get that buff on our support line. Yikes, so we have Flam Panzer right there. That's going to take care of one of our units. So, do we just hammer it right now? Not feeling as lucky this time. We've already done that game to feel lucky on the Katyusha. We'll just hammer it this time. Not a bad spot. 2 more artillery in our hand. The 17th Infantry for a buff. Greyhound to the front for a buff. And we got the sickle to get a card draw and destroy a unit. The Fallschirmjäger again. We get to see these guys again. Alright. Let's, we'll have to kill that. Easy. We got the bloody sickle, and our artillery will be able to kill it. There we go. We clear his board. We got the Greyhound out in front. We're taking out that 1-1 because if he puts down another tank after that has a blitz, it'll get the adjacent buff. So we're just going to kill it instead of hitting face. So we don't risk that he comes out with something with only a 2 attack. It gets buffed to 3 and it could kill our Greyhound. Of course, now it could kill the Greyhound anyway with only 2 health, but we took away the adjacent buff anyway. Alright, so we have a lot of options here. Stranglehold. That takes care of all our options. That'll end our turn. Don't see that card very often. Whoa, 4th Marine's coming down with a bolster. Alright, so he's got a 10-9, 0 operation infantry now on his support line. I think we just need to go as wide as we can here. And we know we have Patriotic Firestorm in our hands, so we need to get all of these artillery down and hope that they all stick. What an amazing Eagle Claw that would be. Hopefully he doesn't have one. And we can Patriotic Firestorm after, hopefully, and kill that 10-9. That's a crazy unit to have to deal with. So we're going to lose the Greyhound, so we're not going to be +2, we'll be +1, so 3, 6, 9, 12 damage. He retreats the Greyhound and moves up. Okay, so that's even better, because that way the Greyhound doesn't die. And now I think we actually, with the Patriotic, can do everything we want here. I think we can kill both because the anti-tank gun will do +2. And that works out perfectly. Boom. Wow. That was amazing value right there. When you talk about value, that was value. We just killed a lot of his power right there. Autocannon. And another 4th Marines. Okay. We gotta make room so we can put down the 17th and buff some of these artillery. Probably should have played the Greyhound to get it to the front, but I guess I don't want to lose it. Kill the artillery. Is Katusha going to proc for us? No proc, so we get the 4 damage. We're going to push the front line here and just block the front line. Make him spend 4 credits to trade. If he bolsters again, he bolsters, but not much we can do about that. I just don't want him to be able to get through and get at our HQ or our support line artillery. So he retreats the anti-tank gun, I find interesting. Probably would have retreated the Katusha since it's buffed. But, we're going to buff the Katusha again. Let's see if we get lucky. If it procs, we get the proc, so that guy's dead. Alright, so we're just going to go and lay down the... go wide again on the artillery. He's got to get through that front line before he could even get there, and all he's got is the 1 tank on board, so feeling pretty good right now unless he gets some big removal going. Alright, 2 units dead, no problem. So we're just going to keep playing the control game and he will surrender, and that's the end of that. Alright, so we win game number 5. Alright, here we go, game number 6 versus Baraxis. British deck. British could be rough. The nice thing about artillery is it doesn't care about guards, so as long as we can keep the front line and keep the artillery going, blast in the HQ, that's the game plan here. Blast the HQ as fast as possible. Unless it ends up being like an air deck or something. If it's just standard control with guards, you want to blast HQ as fast as possible. If it ends up being an air deck, there's probably a lot of bombers. You want to deal with the bombers and just trade value until you could take over board control. So we're going to go wide here. We're looking for a Greyhound. It would be nice to get a Greyhound out to the front. It's a bit early to get a Patriotic Firestorm going. Alright, so those guys are annoying because they kill everything they touch. So if we put our Greyhound into the front right now, it's going to die. So we're just going to go and drop the Katusha and hit face. We get the proc. That's great. We're just going to keep pressuring face, I think, until we get a response that makes us do anything differently. Alright, air power. Deal 2 damage to a tank. Or 2 damage to an enemy, rather. Or destroy a tank. Kills an artillery. We'll drop a replacement artillery. It's not quite as good, but it's a replacement. We're still not going to push up the front line. We need him to move that 1-3 off so that we can take it down. And we're going to go ahead and do that, get a card draw out of it. So that's a decent card draw. Now we can buff one of these guys. So if he does move that up, we can kill it now. The 2 health with our buff. Okay, so he goes with the Atlantic Convoy. Interesting. So we still want to lay low on our support line because we're really going to trade down against that commando. He could get 2 of our artillery for 1. I suspect he's going to push up now if he's got that 2-3 there. Don't know if he'll move the commando or not, but alright, lays down that plane. We got 2 anti-aircraft artillery there, so the plane costs 6 credits to operate. Alright, so let's see if we can kill everything here or not. So I think we sickle the 2-3. And then we trade into the 2-2 with our 2-2. Kill that. We're not going to have enough to kill the... Maybe 1 credit short to kill the plane. So we'll hit the plane for 2. And so he'll spend his whole turn operating that plane if he wants to use it. So he goes with forts. That's fine. So he's back up to 19 health on his HQ. I'm okay with that. So now we got more artillery than we know what to do with. Kill the plane, drop the Katyusha down. The reason why he did that with the forts, I think, is that he's on turn 6. He's probably setting up a carpet bomb. That's a decent carpet bomb right now. We do have him down to 10 health, and we do have 2 more artillery in our hand, so yeah, carpet bomb. So that hurts a little bit. Wipes our whole board. The OP carpet bomb. So alright, so we can play down 2 artilleries here. Draw. We gotta just hope the heck he does not have another carpet bomb. If he does, we're gonna hang on to this Katyusha, because if he does have another carpet bomb, we'll at least have 1 unit left. If he carpet bombs these 2 away, then at least we have 1. We play around it a little bit. Alright, so he drops the coastal gun. Very expensive unit to be playing. So we can kill it. We're going to kill his artillery. We're setting up for our Firestorm finish, I think. We're going to hit that off right now. 3, 6, and if Katyusha procs, we win. And it does. When we win on the Katyusha proc, fantastic. Took the gamble. He only would have been able to kill 1 artillery next turn with that. So we would have only needed to hit for 1 more damage. So there we go. That's a win. Alright, so final boss. Alright. Soviet Field Marshal budget. Final boss. Captain Greyback. CPT Greyback. Playing USA. So first thing we're going to be worried about the most here is L640 decks. So we're going to want to keep that hammer. Because if it's an L640, at least it could deal 6 damage to it on turn 3. We're not playing Katyusha. Or sorry, we're not playing Flampanzers. We don't have Germany here. So our answers to L640 are pretty limited. Oh, we top decked our preferred first card, so we switch over to the artillery, save the Greyhound. So, alright, no L640. Yeah, that makes me feel a little bit warmer and fuzzier. Here we go. Alright, play the infantry down there, because when they move up, they'll become a 3-4. Ooh, okay, so he does have Italy as his ally, so it might be some form of L640. Jeez, what do we do here? That's got armor, so we can't do much. So let's hammer that down now. Alright. And another one, back to back. So it's a beefy unit because of the heavy armor. I think if we go out... Yeah, I don't know. We can go up with the Greyhound and hit with the artillery. Or we just go wide on the artillery. So he bolsters the ranks on that. So that's not a high value bolster the ranks, but does put us in a bit of a situation. All of our artillery is only a 1 attack, and he's got heavy armor, which means we can't kill it. That one can kill it with the ambush, but... so we need... If we attack with Katyusha and it procs, we'll get the 1 damage on the extra. That's the way Katyusha works against heavy armor. And we get the extra proc, so that's awesome. So the armor blocks the first, but the bonus to hit will always do damage. I'm not sure about heavy armor too, how it works, but I think that extra proc gives you a guaranteed damage. It's only the first attack that will have to deal with the armor, or be offset by the armor. Alright, looking for Katyusha to proc again. We don't get it, so we gotta waste another artillery hit on it. So with our remaining credits, we just go face. We got a really great board here. So we're worried about Seaborn, and we're worried about strategic bombing. Death from above. Of course it hits Katyusha. It's the best target available. Jaska goes down. Jaska is going to slow us down because of the -1 to all the damage we do to the HQ. So their artillery only did 1 damage. Alright, we kill an ant. That was awesome. Great shot there. He's going to bolster Jasko. Oh, he bolsters us. So he's given up. So we beat the final boss, Human Torpedo. And he surrenders. And that's it. Final boss. And it's that easy. The Soviet artillery deck Patriotic Firestorm still holds up for your budget Field Marshal. Good luck, guys.